back here on the Cover 3 podcast, and what an honor it is to be joined by Penn State quarterback Drew Allar. Drew, really special season last year, you know, in terms of building a career and taking those next steps. What does the next step look like for you as a quarterback? Yeah, I think to me, every year I've played the position of quarterback, no matter high school or college, I feel like I've made improvement every year. So that goal stays the same for me, trying to find different ways to get better, not only for my personal benefit, but to accomplish the things we want to accomplish as a team. Because I know I want to be better in those spots that we maybe came up short last year, and that's definitely a goal of mine. And I'm working as hard as I can to, you know, when those moments do come, capitalize on them this year.
You had the option to turn pro and decided, to come back to Penn State, maybe accomplish something special. But, personally, what was some of the feedback you received as far as, hey, if you work on this, this, and this, you can really skyrocket? Yeah, I think for me, the feedback I heard both internally, externally, and me reflecting on my season was just consistent footwork. And I think that's something I've worked hard on really every year. And I think our quarterback coach, Danny O'Brien, and obviously adding Trace McSorley now to our staff have been a phenomenal add for us. And that's really helped me be just consistent in those moments. And really, it wasn't that I had bad footwork. It's just that I was putting myself in I guess not optimal positions to throw certain throws, and that's what caused some inaccuracy issues. So I feel like when I'm on time and on rhythm, there's not a throw on the field I can't make. So just trying to tap into that whenever I can, and then when I do have to move, making sure I can try to get myself in the best position to make certain throws on the field.
I always try to tell people when you see changes on an offensive staff, or you see quarterbacks hopping from school to school, how difficult it is to really become fluent and comfortable in a system. So last year was your first year in a new system. How much more comfortable are you now after an entire spring? Get 2 springs, an entire season. Yep. What's your comfort level like? How much different is this year? I'm really comfortable in it. I think Coach K does a great job of not only asking for my feedback, but feedback from the O-line, running backs, tight ends, receivers, of what they like, what they don't like, and also including the whole staff. Like there's everybody has an opinion in our staff, and it's always heard. It's not like the end all be all just because Coach K's the one calling the plays. Like he's literally open to anything. And if it's into our offense, he'll make a way to make it work. So I think he does a great job of putting me in great positions to play my best football. And I think, that's one thing that we've worked on this spring and summer is like, what is our team going to look like in the fall? What's the style we want to play? And then really building off of that. So I'm really excited for the new stuff that we've added in and the wrinkles we've added in so far. And also continuing to build off the success we had last year, because we had a lot of success last year and we definitely want to keep that rolling. Danny, Drew's talking about footwork, but I need to ask questions about the shoe game. Can we get a fit check right here? What are we rocking? Yeah, so I got some Louis Vuitton loafers. My marketing agent Laura helped me out finding them. So I love sneakers in general. I have probably too many at my apartment in State College, but it's something I love to wear and really just throw on with any outfit. And the blue,
It's
perfect.
Also, I got a little bit of a sleuth, right? A little bit of an investigative journalist. I hear you've been working on your cooking, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. So where do you think you have room for improvement in terms of in the kitchen? I think the diversity of the food I cook. It's really only steak, chicken, pasta, potatoes, broccoli, and asparagus. Like that's my thing right now. I've kind of not mastered it, but I'm getting to that level of knowing how to cook stuff. But yeah, I think it's something I kind of enjoy doing. I try to find different hobbies away from the field, just finding different outlets. And for me, a big part of my goal this offseason was to drop some weight, get leaner, and I thought like the best option is to really put that in my own hands and really, calculate the food that I'm eating and the stuff that I'm eating. And if I'm the one cooking it, I know what I'm putting into my body. So that was kind of how I got started this off season. But I try to find different outlets for me in the off season. Work on seasoning, right?
We were told to want some seasoning.
Wait, who's saying this?
Doc.
I don't think I've ever cooked for Doc, so I don't think he has a good. Doc can throw down on the grill, though. I will say that. All right.
You come in fitter than you've ever been. How much is that going to help you with the run game component as well? Yeah, it's definitely going to help me a lot because last year I definitely feel like I made improvements in the scrambling game of my game. But I definitely want, because I know that's a big philosophy with Coach K, being in the, not an option offense, but we have a lot of option plays in our offense, and just the amount of diversity in the play calls that we can have if I'm able to add that element to my game and be better at that element. So I think it's something I take pride in and doing whatever it takes to, find one or two more
more wins throughout the year. And if that's what they want me to do, then I'm going to do it. And I'm really excited about it because this is the best offseason I've had. And a lot of guys like on our team that came back, like Nick and Fat Man, this is the best offseason they've had. And it's impressive to watch them work. They're working at a whole new attitude right now. It's been really fun to see, and really everybody on our team, offense, defense, special teams, is doing that. But those two guys have had a phenomenal offseason so far, so I'm really excited to see what our run game looks like, especially with the O-line that we have coming back.
I'm excited to see what the pass game looks like, because that was a point of scrutiny last year. Tyler Warren had so much production. I've been throwing to him a lot too. Yeah. But the wide receiver room needs to take a step up. Who are you starting to develop some rapport with, and who could you see emerging as that alpha at wide receiver?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have 4 older guys in the room that have been really consistent since spring ball. Liam Clifford, Devontae Ross, Kyron Hudson, and then Trevor Pena, who just came over from Syracuse. So those 4 guys have been phenomenal. And I think they've been really good leaders. I think we have a lot of young guys that have been in our program, like Caden Saunders, Anthony Ivy, that have really taken their next step. And then also we have some young guys that just enrolled, like Kobe Howard, who is going to be a real playmaker for us. I think he's going to play at some point this year. And really all the guys that we brought in the last 2 years in that recruiting classes have been phenomenal. And I'm really excited to see their development, not only this year but in the future. So I'm really excited the options that we have. It's a very diverse room, different skill sets and strengths and weaknesses for that sort of thing. So I think it's going to be really fun scheming up ways to get them the ball.
You guys lost a lot to the NFL on defense. Who are some guys you went against in spring ball? Maybe some first-time starters we can give people at home a sneak peek of, like, new names for Penn State's defense that are nasty.
Yeah, I mean, I think to shout out, like, not a new name, but Zane Durant and Denai Dennis-Sutton, those 2 guys, obviously they're in the same recruiting class I was in, but those guys have been really good players for us for all first 3 years of their career, but I'm really excited to watch them work this year. And I think young guys that I'm excited to see, Tony Rojas. I mean, he's had a phenomenal offseason, and he's been really impressive. A.J. Harris, one of the corners, been really impressive. Obviously, when he transferred to us, I thought he was my grade because of how he handled himself. It took me like halfway through the year to realize that he was a true sophomore, so it's been really impressive to watch him work throughout the years. And we have guys like AC, Elliott Washington. We have a lot of talent in that side of the ball, so I'm really excited to go against them. Obviously, the addition of Coach Knowles going against those guys every day of this fall camp is going to be really fun, because I feel like we can be the best offense in the country, and I know they can be the best defense in the country, so it's going to be iron sharpens iron, so it's going to be really fun.
So Coach Franklin has been at his position in the Big Ten longer than anybody else except for Kirk Ferentz, which is kind of like its own thing, right? 26 seasons. How have you, in your time at Penn State, seen him change? Take us behind the scenes with Coach Franklin.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of the most consistent guys you'll ever meet. From the way his routine, the way he works out, like he's always walking the practice fields no matter the weather. You'll always see him in his weighted vest or carrying weights out there, doing whatever it takes to get those extra steps in. So he's one of the most consistent guys I've ever seen, and I think that really trickles down to the people he hires, not only as the coaching staff but all the support staff. Like if you were behind the scenes at Penn State, like you'll understand like why the success that we've had here has happened, because of the type of people that we have in our program and in our culture in general. But he's been nothing but great. I think he's grown every year that I've been here, and I think our relationship has grown every year, obviously, just because spending more time with him, being in more game situations, and our conversations have gone from a lot more, like, just get more in-depth every conversation we have. So I'm really excited for this year because we have a really, really tight relationship. So there, again, like another reason I came back was to play another year under Coach Franklin, because there's no other coach in America that I'd rather play for.
Y'all ended up getting defensive coordinator Jim Knowles from Iowa State. Like, they beat you all last year. Have you had a chance to sit down with him and say, like, how did you try to attack me? Like, what did you see in my game, like, as an opposing DC who's now on your squad?
Yes, I've definitely had those opportunities. And the one thing that Coach Franklin does is have cross-ball meetings where, like, defense will be lifting, offense will be meeting, and we'll have defensive coaches sitting in our meetings. So Coach Knowles was in our meetings a lot just because of the position we play, but being able to hear him talk about football and kind of see it from a different perspective, because I've never played defense at that level. So I understand defenses, but I don't understand why. I'm starting to understand why they call certain things, why they're in certain coverages and fronts and that sort of thing. So hearing him talk about it has been really good for my knowledge, obviously this year, but further on in my career. And I've been able to sit down with him and a couple other analysts and Coach K and see their scouting reports that they have and their review of our offense and specific players on our offense, and also just sit down and watch the game between us and Ohio State last year. That's been really valuable to me. So I've been really excited about that. Obviously, we have a great offensive coordinator with Coach K, but learning from one of the best defensive coordinators in the country is also very, very valuable to me.
Who at the next level in the NFL do you look at and try to take a little bit and try to think that maybe there's things that you can learn, things you can model after their game?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not one specific guy, but I think there's a handful of guys. Obviously, I'm always going to start with Josh Allen just because he's one of my favorite quarterbacks, just to sit back and watch football in general. I do a lot of off-season studying of NFL tape, and I broke down the Bills, tagged a lot of plays that they run, and just watching him, throughout the year, how much better he got. Obviously, phenomenal season, MVP. So that was really fun to watch. I love watching Matt Stafford, even going back to his Detroit days. I think I have some similar elements to that. Jared Goff as well, because of the offense that he was in, but also I think we're similar, like stature builds and that sort of thing, and just seeing how throughout his career he's evolved and gotten better each year. Joe Burrow, I like watching him a lot. There's not many quarterbacks I don't like watching, I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
Matt Stafford's getting a lot of love here.
Yeah, he is.
Okay,
deservedly so.
Deservedly so.
He's underrated. Hall of Famer. Not around here.
But we did ask Nick this question. Penn State needs blank to accomplish their goals this season. What's the blank?
I think for execution, it always comes down to execution, because there was no game that we lost last year that we were out of. It comes down to us as players executing what's called, no matter if it's a good play call, bad play call, like, we got to make it right. Like, it's on us at the end of the day. The coaches do a phenomenal job of putting us in positions to make plays. Now it's on us for me to make the throws, and then obviously everybody else do the responsibility. So I'm really excited with the culture we have in our team, but specifically with the offense, just to make it right, spot the ball, like that stuff that we always talk about going back to last year. That stuff has been really valuable for us, and I think we're taking that next step with that's our goal, at least, to take that next step and really be more consistent in those games, in those instances.
He is Drew Allar, the Penn State quarterback. Drew, thank you so much for spending some time with the Cover 3 podcast. Best of luck this season.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on.